Well, hi guys, and welcome to Topanga Canyon or mountain. It's a beautiful place here up in the mountains of LA, California. It's kind of divine, it really is. I wanted to come here because many people talk about the energy up here of many spiritual people, people who are wanting enlightenment and want to awake to their higher self. And I think that's a really good subject today we should talk about. What is enlightenment and what is our higher self? I mean, it's often been a massive debate in the spiritual world of what is enlightenment, because you've got two sides of the spectrum. One side is the awakening of all the darkness around us and how the warriors of the light have to stand up and fight back. And then you've got the other side who basically talk about peace, give peace a chance and don't react to the darkness. And there's a fine line between them both, because you can slip into the warrior energy, or you can leave that alone and just continue your journey as awakening yourself and finding that inner peace. And it is an interesting subject, because I believe that there always needs to be both sides of enlightenment and our higher selves and the awakening. And I think we all go through those moments when we see the suffering, and there are times that we stand up and we have to, say what we feel is real and right for our own spiritual growth. And I think when we've gone through that, then it's almost like we've served that moment that we need to do, and now it's time to serve another path. So I don't believe both sides of that coin are any different than each other. I think they're both enlightening, because they help us awaken, both in what we see around us, which we know is wrong, and in the stillness that what we need to change within ourselves. So enlightenment, to me, it is many forms. You can find yourself like here. I mean, how am I going to get enlightened here? There's nothing here, but yet there's everything here. There's everything here that will help me find my balance and my core, help me understand my life journey, my path, because it gives you the time to reflect on all those things that you did or didn't do in your life, which when you're so busy in the other side of that spectrum of being a light worker, you're basically becoming a warrior. You're fighting for the right reasons, the right causes. You're trying to keep darkness at bay. You're trying to shine a light on truth. So I think we both I think we all need to have a little bit of both. I think balance is extremely important when it comes to fighting the darkness. And when we talk about fighting the darkness, it always has a kind of a really a bitter taste in my mouth. It just doesn't sit right. Why would we need to fight if the truth is the truth? So I struggle when I see my fellow brother and sister getting so angry with people because they're not awakened or they don't understand, and they're getting angry with the system and how certain politicians may be, and how the pharmaceutical industry is, and how the whole world works. And I don't think that has a great positive effect on the world, because your vibration is raised to however you're feeling, and your vibration is lowered to however you're feeling. So I think it's extremely important that we must try to always be aware that when we are in the energy of being a light worker who's a warrior to shine the light on darkness, we must always remember not to fall into that very darkness that we're fighting with and against. So this subject to me is quite important, and I often see my fellow brothers and sisters slipping, and I send them a little prayer. And today I suppose the message would be there are many types of light workers out there, and we shouldn't judge, but what we should do is when we see our fellow brothers and sisters who are trying to raise the vibration of this world slipping slightly, then send them a big cuddle, send them a message, say to them, you know, you're doing fantastic work, I just want you to know, I think, you know, I admire you, I respect you, keep going, and always remember, you know, you've always got a cuddle here, and I love you very much. And try to bring that bit of compassion back to them, that bit of love back to them, so they go, oh my God, I was really slipping, because it's very easy to slip when you start becoming a light warrior. A lot of people don't like the word light warrior because they don't fit together, and I used to say the same thing at one time, but you know, sometimes you have to fight fire with fire sometimes, and you have to be as strong as the darkness. So I've grown to understand that a little bit too. Not that I believe it's right or wrong, I just think that we must be aware, and that's why I'm making this video to you guys out there who spend a lot of time on social media, shining the light on all the darkness that's out there, showing people what needs to be seen for us to grow in our own way. I guess the message today, the moral of today's story is always remember that you are a pure, beautiful heart, that you are kind and caring and loving. And when you have to go into that darkness where you have to reveal that darkness with your light, then always remember the most important thing, that you have to retain, you have to remain the lighthouse in this world, because the darkness can soon pull you back into that very dark energy that sometimes we do fall into. So be very careful with that energy. The other side of enlightenment to me is the side of inner peace, and we have to go inside for that. That's why we call it inner peace. And enlightenment comes from within, and I believe that we are all enlightened souls, every one of us. It doesn't matter who you say, oh, that person's full of darkness and all that. Yes, because we've been overshadowed by the darkness, but sometimes you can get inside a heart and you can awaken them by a simple gesture or a simple message or something that triggers them to make them realize, oh my God, I can't believe I've been so dark. Sometimes you might not get through to that person, but at least you give it a try. So when you are working in the energy of self-awareness, I think you kind of step away from all of the above and you start to just fully focus on yourself. And I think that is also a challenge for a lot of us, because we spend most of our time trying to fix and help everybody else. And, you know, we find it difficult to believe that without selfishness that we should, and we are here to heal ourselves and simply work on ourselves, because the mind kicks in and says, you know what, you shouldn't be doing this, you should be doing other things, you shouldn't be spending time on yourself, that's selfish. So we have to overcome that, and that's one of the things that I think, if you look at the ancient texts of the Buddha, he had a lot of fights when he was sat under his tree, a lot of battles with the darkness, a lot of battles with himself to be able to get to true enlightenment. So I do believe that when you work on yourself, I think that can be an extreme, challenging part of your life. And one where I'm working on at this moment, and it's taken a couple of years and I'm still working on that every single day. I love it, I really do. And even when I'm down and feel sad and, you know, trying to figure out what it's all about, I always look at life, and I think I want to leave you on this note. The path of enlightenment, when you truly walk it, is a path of a line which runs across like here. So you have a line, and what happens is that line is both positive and negative. And what happens is you start your journey from here, and all of a sudden you start the beautiful path of enlightenment and you get to here. And then all of a sudden you walk a little bit and then you fall. And remember, this is your line, and you fall down here. And then you feel terrible because you think you're not enlightened anymore. But then what happens is you walk a little bit of darkness and sadness, and then all of a sudden you come back up and you come higher. You come slightly higher than when you first started here with the path of enlightenment of happiness. So you've risen slightly. And then you'll walk along that path and all of a sudden you'll fall again. You'll fall, but you'll never fall where you once fell, which was that low. So you will fall, but only to here. And so it goes like this. Until it's like this. And I kind of want to say, guys, each time we fall, it takes us to an enlightenment place where we see ourselves, and at that moment we can change the way we are. We can see why we are behaving like that, and by recognizing everything within our actions and why we feel low and what the possibilities are, because we're in that moment of stillness, we can ask ourselves the deepest of questions, and in that moment you are channeling an energy that gives you the information of possibly why you feel the way you do. It isn't always what you eat. It isn't always exercise. It can be from childhood. It can be from your parents. It can be from your partner. But all of these things and more, when you recognize it, that's when you're one step closer to healing it. And that's not necessarily walking away from it, but sometimes when you recognize what it was that triggered you from feeling so bad, then you're able to accept it, let it go, and become stronger. And that's what I'm doing and what you're doing every day. And I believe this path never ends. And I don't believe we're ever going to be like this. I believe it's always going to be like this. But I think that when you conquer something, when you overcome a challenge in life, from being a child or from love or from whatever, there's always other things that you are challenged with, you have to conquer in your life, and it's an ongoing process. And I think that was one of the things that I really came to terms with last year. This isn't a race. I'm not here to win the race before I leave this world. I just believe that this journey of mine is a constant high, low, happy, sad, content, enlightened, darkness, happiness, all of those things mixed together throughout the whole of my lifetime. So I've come to the acceptance of all of those things, so I now simply flow in the moment. And this is how I see spirituality. This is how I see awakening. I live in the moment. I don't think too much. I just allow whatever to come. I don't plan too much. Okay, I might go here, go there, do this, do that, but it's not in such a way that it halts my journey and my path at any given moment. So I guess what I'm saying is to live in the moment and to be flexible and not to have expectation on where you should be and what you should do and what your spiritual journey is, brings you to a good level that you can walk a path filled with excitement, filled with new things coming to you, which is the flow of the spiritual world giving you things, and thus you grow and become more enlightened along the journey of life. I guess that's it really, guys. From a very beautiful Topanga Canyon mountain. It's gorgeous here, guys. Sorry about yesterday, it was very noisy, but you know what, it did some of you good. You actually focused very well, and you guys are funny as well, so I like your sense of humour. Thank you so much for subscribing to Mark Bajewski YouTube channel. Thank you for going to markbajewski.com and buying your Moldavites last night. Some beauties went last night. Well done, guys. And sorry about the glasses, I didn't realise I had them on. But from my heart to yours, have a great day. Thank you for subscribing, guys. Take care. Bye.